What's really interesting, we've noticed just in the last couple years, is some of what we would have called the more gamer games, the European games like Settlers of Cattan or Carcassonne, have appeared in places like Chapters. And so my suggestion is go to Chapters and check out Settlers of Cattan, Carcassonne, Seven Wonders is there now, I saw the other day, Ticket to Ride. Those would be 4 gateway games. And then of course you go visit the Century Box after that and take your credit card.
Right. Anyone else have anything to add to that?
Well, I would probably start by asking what their interests were. Like, what do you like? What sort of things do you want? What type of games do you play now? If you're a card player, I can show you a whole bunch of different new types of card games. If you are interested in video games, well, I've got card games and other board games that represent old style video games. If you have a friend that plays a board game and you just want to do that, well, you start with what you have. You start with your core group of friends in your community. You play those games. It might be that you start out playing a Hex Encounter war game because that's your group that you start with. It's more about what works for the people, the group that you're in, than just saying it's going to be a gateway game. Now, gateway games are great if you have nobody. You're just 4 of you, husband, wife, and a couple kids saying, we want to have a games night. We want to play some games. We want good games. We don't want to find Monopoly under all the table. Then, yeah, go to Chapters, pick up one of the games, try it. Or come to a meetup and try a game. This is not a community where you have to try this out by yourself.
And Will Wheaton's doing some great stuff with introducing people to board games with his tabletop show. It's a great way to kind of get a quick rundown of the rules before you buy the game to see if you'd kind of like it. I didn't care about Will Wheaton when he came last year. I didn't. But then when he started doing the tabletop thing, it's a great thing for the gaming community that he's introducing people to these games, and he's doing it in a way that it makes it's not as scary for people, it's approachable. You kind of see what it is and then you can give it a try. So I'd say check out YouTube for any games that you might have heard of that you want to look at. There's always great tutorials on how to play, rule explanations, and that's where I get a lot of my information.
And there's a great convention in the fall called FallCon. you might know some people that are part of that. We do focus a lot on being a gateway, I guess from a larger perspective, being a gateway and inviting individuals to come. I know it can be a bit daunting, all of a sudden there you are, no different than coming here and all these people are in costume. And you go, wow, I should have dressed up. But we do a good job, I mean, I'm kind of promoting the hat a bit here. We do a good job of actually having people come in and take a look at those. And then there's also the meetups. At one point it was, you found pockets of individuals playing games, and then you just happen to know one guy who knew another pocket, and that would be how you connect now. That meetup is awesome, and there's a great number of meetups available to come and join in, and we have some cards with that as well. Yes?
You talk about the meetups, and it's like, if I'm nervous sometimes about going into an environment where everyone might know each other, and
Yep.
You get there and there's 4 games going on. You don't know any of them, and the learning curve sometimes will keep people away from getting involved. How easy is it if you don't know any of the games, you only know Cattan and Ticket to Ride or a couple others, and you walk in? How comfortable are you just sitting down and getting into a game? And do you have levels of people who want to play games they already know and people who want to play new games?
Yeah, so one of the things that we introduced last year at FallCon, and that's where these hats came from, is we have an ambassador program now. And at the FallCon convention, but also any of the Calgary board game meetups that start with FallCon Presents, you're going to find people there who are ambassadors. They'll either be wearing the hats or they'll identify themselves as ambassadors. Their job is to get you into a game and teach you to play. I call it job. We don't pay anyone, but sorry, Gary. But that's the purpose. It's to grow the hobby, and we're all passionate about that. And please come out. They're at public venues, but also I know Natalie and myself do them in our homes as well. we always get people who are new, and we just get them playing, and they're
Are they
very,
all over the
very
city
welcome.
or like
Yeah.
there's one?
Yeah, I'm in the deep south in Brattleboro, and Tim's in,
In Royal Oak,
in the
yeah.
far northwest.
And we
Yeah.
run a monthly one, so far every month for the last 2 years, at the Brentwood Co-op in the community room. We get anywhere from 30 to 40 people, and every month we get at least a dozen people who have never played anything beyond, even if they've played Cattan. And I keep an eye out for every new face that comes in, make sure that they get to meet a couple of people, get into a game, have some fun, play, and it just keeps growing and growing. You just meet new people, and yes, it is hard. Like, I'm not the most outgoing person. I got into board games because I could play with the same 4 guys every week. Different game, sure, but it was that group. I joined the FallCon team and the meetup groups because I knew I needed to meet other people. Get out there, socialize, and interact with other human beings. It's on my ground. I get to decide, okay, how much do I want to pull out there? When I go to the meetup group, I try to meet everybody, say hi. What have you played before? Do you want to play a game? Something like that. And get them into the hobby and understand why we enjoy it so much.
And
So-
there, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, meetups too, there's one in the central city at Century Box. And so if those of you in more central, I know there's Trilogy Games hosts one
Wednesday
in
nights.
Linwood. So they are all over.
Myth also does, and
Myth.
they're in the Northeast.
Yeah. So,
Something I would add to your question, though, I would say that historically, yeah, you're right. You kind of sometimes could get that cliquey feeling when you walk into sort of a big room and it's a gaming club and there's a bunch of groups playing. But I would say over the past, maybe even 5 years, it's evolved since then. As a culture, especially in Calgary, those of us that have been passionate about it have realized that it's a bit of a barrier for new people to come and play games. And so in most of these events, you'll find at least a few people that are looking for people that seem a little bit nervous, and they're going to pull you into a new game and just say, let's try this new thing. What kind of game do you like, and so on. And they'll bring you to a table and show you how to play the game and things like that too.